This week on UND Insider Weekly, men's hockey experiences home away from home with two big wins at the NCAA Regionals in Fargo to advance to its 21st Frozen Four. And fresh from a three-game sweep over Northern Colorado, baseball's head coach Jeff Dodson joins us in the Coach's Corner. Plus, the panel previews the big conference matchups for both baseball and softball. All this week on UND Insider Weekly. Welcome to UND Insider Weekly alongside Brad Schlossman and Tom Miller from the Grand Forks Herald and Paul Ralston from UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. Gentlemen, it was an interesting weekend. Had a little baseball, had a little softball, had some hockey for sure. I guess we'll start in Fargo with the hockey at Shields Arena. What a captivating audience we had for that NCAA West Regional Tournament, huh, Brad?
A little bit different than the other regionals we've attended. I think, going back to 2006 when it was in the Ralph, I think those are hands down the two best atmospheres I've ever seen. And we'll see where the regionals go from here. But anyways, I thought it probably played a factor. UND got the crowd into it right away on Friday night against Quinnipiac, and that was big. And Saturday night, once Andrew Panzarella scored that goal, I thought it was all UND from there.
Let's talk Friday night a little bit with Quinnipiac. Obviously a really good hockey team, and we found that out for sure. They were kind of taking it to us in the second period early. And then, for some reason, they decided they wanted to play a more physical game. And somebody took a run at Luke Johnson, and he buried two guys consecutively, and I thought that turned the game. Yeah,
he buried two or three guys on one shift. He took, I think it was Landon Smith was carrying the puck in the zone, and he blew him up. And eventually the puck came back around to Luke Johnson. Another guy said, all right, I'm going to line him up, and Luke Johnson ended up destroying the other guy. That's something you saw when he was in high school hockey, actually.
You couldn't knock him off the puck. He was just 75 pounds then. Now he's got a little more, stick to him.
He was like a freshman in high school doing that to seniors that, I think everyone said, here comes this freshman. But yeah, like you said.
I kind of thought it turned the game a little bit because it was almost like I think Quinnipiac thought maybe their physicalness might be the difference in the game. And UND turned that around on them.
And I think that's something some NCHC teams found out. I know you talked to a few coaches during the year that said one of the problems with matching up with this team is they'll play any style of game you want. You want to play up and down game, and they're fine with that. You want to play a physical game, they'll do that too.
The play, obviously shorthanded goal. You look at Drake Kajula getting on the score sheet. I thought that was just critical and important because it's been kind of a tough spell for him just to find the net. But what I thought was really neat in that play that set it up was how Stetcher enters the zone and he goes a little wider to kind of give more space to Kajula to skate into basically, and then delivered the beautiful pass, to pinpoint pass. It was wonderful.
Well, that play started way back in the defensive zone. First he won the puck battle against another guy. The puck was going there and he chipped it past another guy. So he beat two guys for the puck, which is something we've seen quite a bit with Troy Stetcher this year. And that's a situation where it's a 2-0 game. You're on a 4-on-3 power play. You're thinking this, and that's much more of an advantage than the 5-on-4. You're thinking it's going to be 2-1 here, and now is a chance to get back in the game. And when you come out of that down 3-0, that was pretty much the game right there.
I thought the other interesting thing through both games was Colton St. Clair, who did not play in Minneapolis the week before. He wanted to play. The coaches felt they needed to give him a little more time to make sure he's 100% for this tournament. And I thought his line was, it's hard to say the best line, but I thought they certainly were the energy and the driving force, don't you think?
They were a big factor all weekend, and we'll go back to St. Cloud State's, the biggest goal maybe of the weekend is the Huskies went up 1-0, and they had a lot of really good chances right after that. The first 5 minutes, they were really good. And then the play that got Panzarella his goal, St. Clair made a really nice hold at the blue line. Tucker Pullman a big forecheck and took out a guy and set it up for Panzarella. So great plays by both of those guys that set up that goal, and that really turned the tide against St. Cloud.
St. Cloud State, well, obviously the bottom line, I think, for North Dakota, and has been all season long, has been Zane McIntyre. and he's just solid. And I like the way Bob Motzko put it when he said not only was he good, he looked good doing it.
Yeah, I mean that's what's tough about, you know, he talked last weekend at the Frozen Face-Off. The big key, he said, is getting off to that fast start, because you get behind, they're so tough to come back from. He said defensively they'll suffocate you, and then you have to beat Zane McIntyre how many times, and the bigger that lead gets, the more daunting the task is. And they didn't have tons of opportunities, tons of shots, but they had some great A's, you know, and he was all over it.
A couple of interesting questions that I had, and this gets back to the whole neutral site thing, was post-game press conference and some comments made.
Okay, let's let everybody know you were the moderator for the press conference.
No, that's fine. I don't.
And you did a darn fine job, as I understand.
Thank you. Rand Pecknold said, thanks. Rand Pecknold said that, you know, well, it really wasn't a neutral site type of deal. Like, it was kind of a backhand. Like, but my feeling is that, would you rather play in a 3/4 empty building or play in an atmosphere like that? But then Bob Motzko told Tim before the game going in against St. Cloud State, why don't we play it at the Ralph? It's a lot of fun up there, basically.
Plus, they have good luck at the done well.
So my whole feeling is that I guess, you know, this, I guess, infatuation with this neutral ice idea, you know, why do teams like playing in half-empty buildings? I don't understand that, because
I don't think they do.
Like playing.
I think the student athletes like it.
Okay.
I think that if you're a good team, I mean, there's been many teams here in North Dakota that actually like playing on the road.
Yeah,
because
they do.
They like sticking it to them.
Yeah.
That was part of their makeup. And I think most teams, if they're good and they're in that position, they take that and use it to their advantage if they can.
And by no means was that a neutral site this weekend. Just as it's not a neutral site when UND goes to Worcester to play Boston and when they go to Manchester to play New Hampshire. I'm curious what's going to happen in the future now if teams start getting sent to Fargo every other year, like teams get sent to Worcester and Manchester. They're not going to be happy about that.
One other thing, Tom, and I think it's important. You pointed it out in a column about how there wasn't any wild jubilation in the North Dakota locker room. I think they had more fun, after the win over St. Cloud State in applauding the fans than really celebrating the win. It's like, you know, the work isn't done is their take on it, and that's kind of interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, I think there were definitely players who were making that very clear in the post game that you know, there's still unfinished business left out there, and I think that's part of, you know, they talked about the maturity of this class following those games in the Frozen Face-Off at the Target Center, and how you know, they kind of understood big picture things, and I think that was maybe key in transitioning between the Frozen Face-Off and the West Regional, and probably will be key again if they're able to kind of regroup here between the West Regional and the Frozen Four.
We've got the perfect storm coming up, don't we, to a point.
Yeah, for sure. and you know what, they might not have been feeling good enough to celebrate after that.
I don't think a lot of people understand that.
No.
There was a lot of illness on that, including the coach.
The coach, the
trainer.
Mark Pullman. Have you ever seen Mark Pullman get befell by anything?
Not these things. But it sets up in Boston, Frozen Four, could be the perfect storm. People might want to talk about, might not, but there's still people that out there that love Dean Blaze, and I like Dean Blaze as well, and he's a good hockey coach. And if North Dakota would get to the championship game and play Nebraska Omaha and beat them, I think it'd put to rest a lot of things. Don't you? That would be one heck of a storyline.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Can I just add one more caveat onto that? Is that Dean Blaze, when he won his first national title at UND, the team that he beat in Milwaukee, Boston University. Yeah, pretty interesting.
7th time for Coach Hackstall in his 11 years. They're playing on the 11th. 7-11. I think she's all lining up, guys. I don't know what you think. All right. After the break, after ending their most recent road trip with a 3-game sweep of Northern Colorado, we're going to talk some baseball with head coach Jeff Dodson. He'll join us in the Coach's Corner.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
When he played Legion.
But he was actually in the game.
He was in the game, yeah, exactly. I was the up 10, down 10 pitcher.
Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND's student-athlete scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. And bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alaris Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball.
We play to win, but it's bigger than winning. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself, genuine dreams and a country big enough to fit them, values and hard work, giving your best and giving back, working together, building a tradition bigger than any one of us, and showing the world every day who we are and how we play. We're Big Sky. We are the heart of the American West.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Nearly 2 months after the start of the season, UND baseball is finally getting a chance to play at home on Kraft Field. Head coach Jeff Dodson joins us in the Coach's Corner. Coach comes off of a sweep at Northern Colorado to even your WAC record at 3-3. Congrats on that, first of all, and I bet you're looking forward to playing at home.
Yeah, really. It's we were talking about it on the bus on the way home last night, and that was
a lot of time to talk on that.
Absolutely, yeah. It was about 14 hours worth, so we figured a lot of things out on the way back. But yeah, it was really good, and kids are excited to be home and sleep in their own bed.
Talk about the series at Northern Colorado, a sweep over the Bears, and in really kind of impressive fashion too in all those games.
Yeah, it really was. We had our guys offensively we broke through and hitting's contagious, as in most most things in sports. When one person does it, then it just kind of builds up and snowballs a little bit, and that's what happened to us. We executed. We didn't do a very good job in the first game of scoring runners from third base with less than 2 outs, and that we approached that with our hitters and talked to them about it, and talked about their approach and their plan with it, and they executed the next couple of games. But the big story for the weekend was our pitching. We had first two complete games of the year, and then Zach Muckenhern gave us a quality start getting into the 6th inning, and Jeff Campbell came in and he was able to extend a little bit and got 3 innings and got the save.
Coach, you look at college baseball and how big of a factor of having veteran pitchers does it make going into a season? Because you've got a lot of guys that have thrown some big innings for you in the past, and it can make a big difference, can it?
Yeah, it really can. The biggest thing about having veteran pitchers is they're able to withstand any type of charge that the offense puts together. They don't get rattled by a bad call or a bloop hit or anything like that. They stand on the mound and they take the ball and they throw the next pitch, and that really settles our club down too. It helps our defense as well, knowing that they're going to go out and keep battling and keep pitching.
What have you thought of that top of your order? Every time you see some of your results, you're seeing the same names like Tyler Fallis, Ryan Reese, Jeff Campbell. What are those guys done here early in the year?
Well, they're doing a really good job with their preparation going into the games, and I think that's the biggest thing. How they've prepared in the weight room, and and what they've allowed themselves to do physically, at the plate is very big. Jeff's a big, strong kid anyway. Ryan Reese is as well, but he's worked really hard to get himself healthy. He hasn't finished the last 2 seasons with us, and he's very healthy for us right now, and he's having a great year. And a guy that really stepped in and has done a pretty good job for us in the leadoff spot is Zach Keyser. Another guy. He kind of finds his way, gets on base, and he's a freshman, so he's still learning things as well. But he's being able to, or getting to watch these other guys and see how they do things, and he's really kind of seasoned himself, this early in the season.
Coach Jeff Campbell was the WAC Conference Player of the Week. He had 4 home runs, I think, in 4 straight games now. Is it going to get to a point where they're not going to pitch to this guy?
I hope not. I hope it doesn't work. They pitched around him a couple of times in northern Colorado, but that's when you get into a situation where, if your leadoff guy gets on and it's a tie ball game, you really don't want to bunt with Follis because they pitch around Campbell, and that's what happened a couple of times, there. And so it kind of changes the strategy a little bit because he is swinging the bat so well. But we're going to do everything we can to keep the bat in his hands and try to create some opportunities for him.
Touch on real quick just the quality of WAC baseball and just how much of a slog it is basically to grind your way through a conference season, because there's a lot of quality opponents, aren't there? Yeah,
it really is. It's a big change from the Great West that we went or came from into the WAC. The athleticism was much better, and last year in our first year we had 26 games that came down to the 9th inning, and we went 8-18 in those games, and that was the biggest thing that we had to address was athleticism and toughness, and the athleticism and toughness both came from the work that we did in the weight room this year, and it's really really helping our guys out. But you go out and you watch guys play every day, and you're facing 90-mile-an-hour arms every day. It's pretty you have to be ready to go. You can't take a day off or something.
Fun stuff though. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely, it really is. It really is.
Have some fun this weekend against Cal Bakersfield.
You bet.
Good luck. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Yep.
Coach Jeff Dodson of the UND baseball team. After the break, we'll preview this weekend's baseball and softball matchups. That's coming up next. Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND's student-athlete scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. And bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alara Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball. That's at UND Baseball on Twitter. Oh, now I got it.
It's like our intermission show.
See how long it took me to get
there. We live in such a fast-paced world. It's always go, go, go. When I'm out for a run, it's my time. It's the best way to start your day. Crossing the line of that marathon, it's the biggest reward you can get. I want my customers to achieve their goals and go above and beyond. I'm Nikki Ladegi, and I'm one of the running experts at Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, baseball returns home for the first 3 games of an 8-game homestand. They'll play Cal State Bakersfield. Follow at UND Baseball on Twitter to follow any changes in the times. You can also watch all 3 games on UND Insider, weather permitting. Weather permitting this weekend, Cal State Bakersfield would probably rather be somewhere else, guys. Of course, North Dakota, I would guess, because the forecast is for temperatures in the 40s and a lot of wind. Do you think it plays any advantage? That is any advantage for anybody?
I think so.
Do you?
I think so.
I think.
I guarantee you, these guys don't want to play in 40-degree weather
They
either.
don't want to, but they've done it at least.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it might rattle. You know, sometimes when it gets to spring, you know, everyone's driving with their windows down when it's 40, and they're not going. The California people aren't going to be doing that. So it could play a little advantage, but yeah, you don't want to hit a baseball.
Although the WAC Player of the Week, Jeff Campbell's from Florida, so you know, I don't know.
WAC Player of the Week, Jeff Campbell, has had quite a start to his season, and we knew he hits for power. He's done it obviously in the past, and now the more he matures, he's a dangerous guy. He might be the most dangerous guy in the league, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's a heck of a meat of the order. Having Reese and Campbell there, and those two guys healthy is going to be really key to that season to keep those guys going, because they've proven, you know, kind of time and again here that they can produce RBIs, long balls. This team, you know, Jeff Dodson said it a number of times, this team's always played well at home, so it's kind of nice that this season has been a pretty comfortable winter and spring, and they might have an opportunity to get some home games in, because when the schedule comes out, sometimes you see those early April games, you kind of roll your eyes and laugh, and yeah, okay. But this year might be one of those years that it can happen.
You look at UND baseball as far as a guy like Fallis, who just, you know, finds a way to get on base. He doesn't, you know, he kind of sets things up and has a track record of kind of getting on hot hitting streaks as well. So, you know, that just aids in creating problems when you bring up a guy like Jeff Campbell too. So it's definitely definitely an offense that I'm looking forward to seeing in person this year.
Luis Calvo's hitting the ball even.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing for this team. What can they get from kind of numbers maybe 7 through 9 in the order, because everybody else is pretty proven. The rest of the team's got to come along, and some of those guys are freshmen, and it might take a little bit here.
Obviously, the key is their pitching staff, and we've talked about it before, but they have veterans on the mound, and that certainly helps them in this league in particular.
Yeah, and you're playing in the WAC, so you're playing some warm weather teams, and you're playing, you know, it's kind of like football in the big sky. There's going to be plenty of offense to go around, and that's why it's probably pretty good to have some proven guys, you know, to come out in the rotation, and they have some proven guys out of the pen this year too.
I think it's done. It seems like it's done a world of good for Jeff Campbell having to. I mean, obviously he's a dual player. He can be a designated hitter. He can play first base. He pitches, but to have him be available for all of that. Certainly helps his team as well, don't you think?
Yeah, Coach Dodson's talked about that as well, as far as Jeff Campbell's a guy who is such an innings eater as a starter. You move him into that bullpen role, you can bring him into tie games, you can bring him in, you know, to different situations. You don't have to feel like you only can utilize him for one inning. You can bring him into a high leverage position in the 7th, say, and he can give you more innings than just one.
Paul, you're the softball expert on the panel. They travel to Montana, first-year program, I understand, so we should win those easy, right?
Well, I think it gets down to pitching for Coach Stevens.
You got a couple freshmen, right?
Yeah, they're young, and I think, you know, you'll see a couple innings where I think they're like, oh, there's the promise, there's what we're looking for, and then you get a couple innings where things are like, oh, hold on to everything, we're going on an adventure. And the one thing that's been really exciting about this softball team for the women is that they are just given the green light to take big hacks, and and go up there, swing away, see if you can poke it out of the park. And that's such a fun concept to basically watch and see these players go when they step into the box, basically go ahead, swing away, see what can happen, and they're playing the game with the long ball, so that's definitely an exciting offense to watch.
Entirely different approach than the previous coach who wanted to nickel and dime you to death and run and bunt and move runners over and all that stuff. That's no fun.
No.
Get in there, take a rip at it.
You don't like the Royals?
Okay. I'm sure it's been weighing on their minds for most of the episode as we've gone along. So after the break, we'll finally find out what these guys are looking forward to most.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND's student-athlete scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. and bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alaris Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball. Welcome back to Insider Weekly, and what are we looking forward to this week, guys? Let's start. We're going to go in the middle with Brad.
Well, I don't know if it's this week quite yet, but I'm already looking forward to the following week and going out to Boston. And it's a great city. There's so much to do out there. You know, even before the hockey games, and being kind of a history nerd myself, I usually drag Tom along to all the historical sites and check those out. And
have you been to Plymouth Rock?
I have been.
Very disappointing, isn't it?
It's just a rock.
A rock with a fence around it, gathering glitter.
You go out there and you get there and you're like, all right.
How about that?
All right, well, let's go back to Boston then.
Would you rather have chowder or Boston cream pie if you had a choice, or are you going to get both while you're out there?
Pepperoni pizza, is that an option?
Boston Lager, is that an option?
There you go.
Sam Adams out there.
Just saying.
We got Sam Adams, we got the Warren Tavern, we've got T. Anthony's Pizza. I mean, let's...
Legal seafood. Tom, he's already in Boston. How about you?
Yeah, I'll look not quite there yet. I'll say Northern Colorado baseball. Or I'm sorry, they just came off Northern Colorado. Cal State Bakersfield and UND. An opportunity to get outside, and hopefully the weather's okay, and can enjoy being outside there and take in some baseball games.
I got my parka and boots ready for baseball season. I always do. Paul?
Men's and women's track and field are down in Sioux Falls for Dakota Duels. So we'll see.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. See kind of how this team is progressing, coming out of the indoor season that just wrapped up here recently. And then also, just on a personal note, it looks like the forecast is that we can. Well, let's not get carried away here, Tim. Let's live in reality. The golf season, believe it or not, outside locally is upon many of us. Some courses have already opened. For me, this guy, I always look forward to getting out there and dusting things off and seeing if I can keep it on the map, on the course map.
Isn't the Masters this weekend?
No, Shell Houston Open, then they go to the Masters next weekend during the Frozen Four. So, you know, when you're out there in Boston, some fans I'm sure will be watching a little bit of from Augusta National and then watching some hockey as well.
I'm looking forward to a little basketball.
I remember Boston Globe columnist Bob Ryan routinely choosing to attend the Frozen Four over the Masters, actually. So a lot of people were asking him about that, and he said, I had a choice to go to either, and chooses to go to the Frozen Four. We'll see if he's there this weekend.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks. Make sure to tune in to a special episode of UND Insider Weekly from the Frozen Four in Boston next Wednesday at 8 on UNDsports.com. Also, make sure to follow UND Insider on Twitter for even more content from Boston, including press conferences from the tournament and special Insider Weekly extra segments and features.